So that's a very short scene, but a lot went into making that work the way that it did. Talk a little bit about your preparation for that.
It was a 4-month preparation because when I read the play first. And when I read the play, everyone had talked about the play, said, this role, wait till you read this role, this role, this role. And I read the play, and I read the scene, and I was like, I don't get it. And I really didn't. I didn't get it. I didn't get it because I didn't understand a woman who would say, I kind of know my son may be having sexual relations with this teacher, but I'm gonna kind of, you know, not look at it. Just sweep it under the rug because it's either him going home being beat by his father and not being encouraged and just having no future, or, you know, being with this priest and being molested, but being with this priest who was actually encouraging him. I didn't understand that choice. And so after I got the role, it took me 4 months to figure out why this woman would make that choice. And I have to say that you have a lot of people chirping in your ear, like, especially with this scene, because every theater in America has done it. So everyone sees the woman as cold. She's cold, cold, cold. I don't understand that. To me, that's commenting on the character. I don't know people like that. I don't know people who are just cold. You know, and I just felt like I wanted to humanize her. And I remember I heard a story about a woman who had a daughter who's a heroin addict. And the daughter lived in her house. And the daughter was going through withdrawals from heroin. And as the daughter was going through withdrawals from heroin, you kind of know what withdrawals are like with heroin. It is not a pretty sight. The foaming, the pain, the screaming. And so while her daughter was screaming and foaming, the mother just couldn't take it anymore and took $20 out of her purse, gave it to her daughter's boyfriend who was in the house, and told the boyfriend to go out and buy her some stuff, anything, to stop it, because I can't bear to look at it anymore. To me, that's human. That's one of those scenes in life that you would never see on screen, because people would deem it as wrong, or people would say it never exists. But as we go through our lives as human beings, it's not always pretty. And it's not always a clear-cut path of right or wrong. And sometimes the choices are like a Sophie's Choice. And with her, I found that this woman was taking the lesser of two evils. And I made the choice with this character that the last part of the scene, it's the only way the scene could work for me, is the last part of the scene. I just said, as a character, when I walked into the office with Sister Aloysius, that I wasn't going to go there with her. I was just going to go to the office, see what was going on with my son, tell her the truth, and get the hell out of there and go to work. But I allowed her to push me to confess that my son is showing these tendencies, and this is what I'm doing, and please, please, just keep him in the freaking school. I didn't see the woman as cold because I didn't understand a woman in 1968, a woman, a couple, working class, black couple, who would pay top dollar to send their son to a Catholic school, go to school during when they're called to school for a teacher conference, sit there, beg the teacher to keep their son in school. That doesn't strike me as cold.
No.
That strikes me as desperate. And there's a difference between desperate and cold.
Now what's great about the scene is that it's two powerful actors, working with each other and against each other, and that must have just been like a tennis match. I mean,
it was awesome. I have to say it, but it was awesome. It was awesome, and just, I'm telling you, just the highlight of my life. I remember when I first showed, we had a 3.5-week rehearsal process, and all my scenes are with Meryl. And so we had a 3.5-week rehearsal process, and I'm like, I'm in rehearsal, Meryl Streep, and then they started the movie, and then I had to go back home, and I said, oh, they're gonna all have fun on the set without me. Then when I finally came back, I remember when I finally came back to the set, I followed her around the set. I followed her up the stairs. I was smelling her freaking perfume. I mean, that's obsessive, okay? And I mean, I know I was aggravating her. Every time she'd walk away, I'd think of some kind of question to ask her to bring her back to me. And by the time we just did the scene, she's one of those actors that gives 150% with your take. And then she gives a lot to her take too. But that doesn't always happen. Every single time, almost a lot of times, when you do your close-up, the other actor, after they've done their close-up, they're coasting. They really are, they're coasting. They said, I've expended my energy, I've done, because maybe it was about me, and me. And with her, you felt like she just gave just as much. And so when that happens, you can only, if you've done your work, you can only be at top form. And I have to tell you, by the time she got to the part where she said, what kind of mother are you? You don't really see it up there as much, but she did it. She got down, and she's a little bitty thing. She got down almost like on all fours, and she can be really just something else. And she just said, what kind of mother are you? And then I was like, oh man, that is on. It was on. Beautiful.
Alright, so we're moving on to Medea Goes to Jail, Eat, Pray, Love, and State of Play. So these are more of the roles where you're helping movie stars to look good, but those are pretty major movie stars.
Yes.
Now Russell Crowe, I mean, he's a tough one, but as an actor, is he good to work with?
Well, any actor who's good is good to work with. Any actor who's good is good to work with because you get better working with them. No matter what you're doing with them, you get better. Because you have to be good in order to be in the scene with them, or else you look bad. So, and what else? I'm surprised you could piece together a scene from State of Play. But
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, and
where you're playing the confidant, you're playing the friend.
Yes, and then Medea Goes to Jail. Yeah, absolutely.
Now Medea was Tyler Perry, and I wondered if you'd ever seen any of the plays that he does. Is that something?
No, I'd never seen any of the plays.
And so this is a movie version of one of those plays. And do you approve of Tyler Perry? You like him? You think he's doing good work? That this is,
I approve of Tyler Perry because, listen, he gave me a job. So yeah, I approve of Tyler Perry. I approve of Tyler Perry in any way. I approve of any filmmaker he does what he does. That's what Tyler, and he does it well, what he does. And I absolutely approve of the fact that he's employing black actresses and actors that nobody else is getting work to. Gabrielle Union, Jennifer Lewis. I mean, the list goes on and on. Cicely Tyson. These are actors that if they waited for work from any other filmmaker in Hollywood probably would not work. And it's really important to work as an actor. You cannot be in your living room reciting Shakespeare and then walk out and say, well, I'm an actor. You kind of need a job. And for me, Medea Goes to Jail gave me street cred. That's what I say, it gave me street cred. I am probably recognized from Medea Goes to Jail more so than anything that I've ever done.
But he's also presenting a very positive, kind of optimistic view of the African American experience. It's an interesting kind of upbeat, these are the morals, these are the values that you should be caring about, kind of, and your character especially was carrying that out.
Absolutely. And I liked my character, Medea Goes to Jail. I think that his messages are positive. I think that what happens with Tyler Perry and what people put on him is he's the only African-American filmmaker out there, so everything is placed on his shoulders. So everybody who wants to see science fiction, everybody who wants to see a grand sweeping period drama, they want to put it on his shoulders. Nobody would do that to Ben Stiller. Right. Nobody would go up to Ben Stiller and say, listen, you did Tropic Thunder, you did Meet the Fockers, you did all of this, but we really want to see aliens. He does what he does, Ridley Scott does what he does, Soderbergh does what he does. I think that if we had more black filmmakers out there, that you could see that everybody has their place. And I think for what Tyler Perry does, I think he does it very well. And I appreciate, once again, the fact that he employs so many black actors. He employs the black gaffers, you know, everyone behind the scenes, the makeup artists. It's a good thing.
Absolutely. So finally getting up to the help. Did you read the book to start with?
I did read the book.
And when you read the book, what was your reaction? What did you want to have happen?
I really, really love the book. I love the book, but of course, being an actor, I read the book, and I was reading it like a film. And when I read it as a film, I said, okay, I'm not going to be Skeeter, I'm not going to be Minnie, so I would be Aibileen. And I saw the problems with Aibileen. I saw that most of her life, 98% of it was internalized. And that's very hard to project on screen. It just is. Unless you want to narrate everything, like, you know, as I'm sitting up, I'm looking at Elizabeth saying, what the hell are you doing? And you can't do all of that. And so therefore, a lot of that has to be cut. And then what's left? What's left could very well be a character that we visited time and time again on screen. It could very well be a mammy.
Yeah.
And I did not feel that that's who she was in the book. I just felt that she absolutely represented the everyday person at that time period. Because I'm telling you right now, the everyday person, when you are African American, born in 1911, you internalize 99% of your life. You suck it in until it implodes. So I thought Catherine Stockett did a great job with that. But then how do you transfer that onto the screen and still keep the intelligence, the insightfulness, the humor, the pathos? I saw the problems, as Jane Alexander said, that acting is about problem solving.
But you wanted to do it yourself. You wanted to take this on.
Yeah, I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to produce it myself. I said, you know, that's where I'm at. I said, you know, if I produce it, then I can give other black actresses jobs. I'm always thinking about that in the forefront of my mind because it just, I'm not apologizing for that.
Oh, right.
So I said, this is it. This is, and I called my agent, Barry McPherson, who's my champion. I said, Barry, I want to option this book. He said, oh yeah. I said, I'm willing to give $5,000. $5,000. And then he researched it and said, this guy named Tate Taylor has it. So I look up Tate Taylor. I said, who the hell is he? Tate Taylor. I said, you know what? Forget 5,000. Tell him I'll give him 300. I'll give him $300 if he will give up the rights to this book. Now, in hindsight, I look back on that knowing Tate and think, are you kidding me? That was absolutely ludicrous or whatever, but I did want to option it because I wanted to be in control of that story because I just thought it was such a rich one. And of course, at the time, I said it needs to be in my hands because I know Aibileen, I know Minnie, I know Constantine, I know Yu Mei, I know these characters, I know Pastor Viola, and nobody else knows them like I know them. And
well, Tate, so how did did you have to chase it down? Did you have to convince them? How did it work?
No, I did not have to convince him, although I'd like to say that I had to convince him, but he'll say, Viola, stop telling that story. But I was having one of my famous parties at my house, and a mutual friend of me and Tate's was at the house, and he screamed over like 40 people. He said, you know, my friend Tate Taylor's trying to contact you for this movie that he's trying to do based on the book, The Help. And I said, oh my gosh, I was trying to option that book. What role does he want me for? The lead role, one of the lead roles. I'll get him on the phone right now. That's the first time I talked to Tate. And then I met Tate in a restaurant. And first of all, Tate is a great personality because I remember my agent, you know, called me beforehand and said, Viola, when you go to this meeting, my manager, Estelle, said it. She said, when you go to this meeting, you be absolutely honest. You tell him absolutely what you think, because I heard he's got a thick skin. I said, he's got a thick skin? Good, I could just let it loose. So I went to that meeting with an attitude, you know. I sat there with an attitude. And he does, he has a very thick skin. And the thing that I really appreciated about him is that he listened. That oftentimes, when people are put in the position of a director, they see it as a dictatorship. And they don't understand that this is the only art form out there that is a collaborative art form. That it takes many different artists to create the whole. He understood that.
Well, let's look at the clip and see some of what we're talking about here. You've been wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
I want to point out, you know, that the director of The Help, Tate Taylor, is with us. I just want to say that we've, at the film festival, in the 27 years, I've only repeated honoring somebody 3 times. Performers, Annette Bening, Kate Winslet, and now Viola Davis. She's, without a doubt, and I'm using the term doubt, you know, pun intended, you know, without a doubt, she's one of the greatest actresses working today. I actually have to tell you, I got my tickets to see Fences, not because Denzel Washington was in it. It was because I have such a crush on Viola Davis. Viola Davis's gift as a great actress is built not on transformation, but is built on emotional authenticity. She doesn't portray characters, but she expresses genuine emotions. Her style is notable by not displaying the more obvious attributes of the female star, with neither her face or physical makeup being considered the traditional idea of what we think a Hollywood star. However, she possesses a remarkable, expressive face, as she represents, to me, what Hollywood has consistently failed to produce: truth and reality. To give the award for Outstanding Performance of the Year, it is my honor to introduce Merle Evers Williams. Merle Evers Williams is a civil rights activist and journalist who worked tirelessly to seek justice for the murder of her well-known civil rights activist husband, Medgar Evers, in 1963. In addition, Merle Evers Williams ran for the state of California Congress, actively participated and became chairwoman of the NAACP, and published several books on topics related to civil rights and her husband's legacy. In The Help, it was Merle's husband's murder that inspires the women to come forward and tell their story. Please welcome Merle Evers Williams.
Good evening. Thank you for the privilege of being here to honor an extraordinary woman, a woman of great integrity, who created an unforgettable and inspiring character in this year's most outstanding and socially relevant motion picture, Viola Davis. Viola Davis's quiet but powerful portrayal of Evelyn Clark in The Help made us all take notice of a historically invisible class of women. In the movie, Evelyn says, and I quote, "No one ever asked me what it felt like to be me. Once I told the truth about that, I felt free." The movie and Evelyn reminds us that when we speak, if only in a whisper, momentous things can happen. There is astonishing power in not only telling the truth, but also living the truth. Evelyn and Viola live the truth. When I was invited to attend a screening of The Help, I was at once numb with personal memories of a very painful time in my own history. But I was also unexpectedly lifted, uplifted. I had been an eyewitness to the abominations that occurred during the period of time in which the story takes place. But I had also been witness to a great many women of dignity and courage and inner strength who lived their lives as examples of what it means to be compassionate human beings. These were not ordinary women. They lived with harsh racial injustice. They struggled, they sacrificed. In servitude, they dedicated their lives to others. I was proud to see them authenticatedly represented in The Help. My husband said, and I quote, "When you hate, the only one that suffers is you, because most of the people you hate don't know it, and the rest don't care." Evelyn innately knows this truth through Viola Davis. Her understanding of human nature, she empowers Evelyn to love our enemies, no matter how hard that may be. At this year's Broadcast Film Critics Association Awards, where she deservedly won the Best Actress Award for her portrayal of Abilene, Viola Davis eloquently said, and I quote, "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you discover your purpose." With these words, Viola beautifully illustrates the heart and soul of Abilene. What Viola recognizes in Abilene, we recognize in Viola. For her entire working life, Abilene had been invisible to her employers. When she finally recognizes and embraces her purpose, she finds the voice to move forward with her life. Viola Davis's life has been extraordinary too. She has received 2 Tony Awards, one for Best Performance by a featured actress in a play for her role as Tona in King Hadley II, and for Best Performance by a leading actress in a play for her role as Rose Maxon in August Wilson's Fences. She is only the second African-American woman to win that award after Felicia Rashad. Her heartbreaking performance in just 8 minutes on the screen in the motion picture Doubt was so riveting and indelible that she received an Oscar nomination for that work. This year, The Help, this remarkable actress distinguished herself yet again with a haunting portrayal of Abilene Clark. For her celebrated performance, she has been recognized with an Academy Award nomination for Lead Actress. It is now my great privilege on behalf of the Santa Barbara Film Festival, again, the Santa Barbara Film Festival, to present this year's Outstanding Performer of the Year Awards to Miss Viola Davis.
Thank you, Merle, and thank you, Octavia, and thank you, Santa Barbara Film Festival, for this. And I especially thank Merle because she was there. You know, if anyone can speak to the authenticity of this time period, it would be her. You know, the question that I'm always so afraid that people would ask me during this whole kind of journey is, do you think you deserve it? Because you're always kind of flitting back and forth with that. You know, I guess, you know, my training as an actor, I'm always in process. I'm always kind of still feeling like the great role and the great performance, I haven't hit it yet. Deserve it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. But I keep thinking, when I was in the 3rd grade, you know, just the memory of beating Quint Dow behind Hunt Street School in a race. Dead of winter, and he was always teasing me. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna challenge him to a race because at the time he was considered the fastest runner in Central Falls. Our world was small. And so I said, I'm gonna beat your pants off, me and you, during recess, race. And the whole school heard about it. Everybody gathered in in the back of the school, dead of winter, concrete. And I remember we were so poor that we couldn't always keep up with buying the shoes when our feet grew. So my shoes were like a size too small for me. And so I took my shoes, I had to take my shoes off in order to raise him, and my socks. And I've told this story before, I know. But it keeps coming back to me because when I won the race, I don't think anybody realized that I won it and I didn't have any shoes on. And that kind of is how I feel, that it's a metaphor for my life, that I haven't always had the opportunities to really show all of my gifts. I've had little moments on screen to just show a little blurb there, a little blurb there, you know. But I am so honored that people have been able to see me through it all, that they've been able to be affected by whatever I have inside of me to give. And I still look for those opportunities to be able to do that, to show all of who I am, the quirkiness, the humor, the sexiness, you know, the ambiguity. And I consider that to be the personal challenge in my career, to be given that opportunity to be able to do that. But I'm so thankful for this point in my life, to be able to just have affected so many people. You know, it's like they say that all you can do is put it out there in the world and hope that it bursts in the air and hope that it means something to somebody. And so often I've heard personal testimonies of people who've been moved by my work. And that's all I've ever wanted. That's it. I don't want to just get the paycheck. So, I thank you for this award. I hope that I deserve it. I hope that I live up to it. And I'm always looking for that ultimate piece of beautiful apple pie called a fabulous roll. Always just in search.
We can do it together.
Thank you.